And now the much anticipated and long awaited video all about truck speed limiters and what I think about them. They're wrong on so many levels, and we'll tell you why on this episode of
The Clutch Trucker Channel.
Clutch Trucker, filmed before a live and furry studio audience. That is Rusty, the world famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker Channel. Coming to you live from the Clutch Trucker Studios, currently located on Highway 5 here in Ohio, near the town of Ravenna. Just picked up the second of another partial load. I picked up a partial load up in Watertown, New York yesterday, and then because Mo wasn't able really to find anything else out, didn't pay all that great because it's only a partial load. However, he did find another load, another partial load for me to pick up, which I just picked up in Newton Falls, Ohio. Only one pallet. So between the two of them together, it pays actually pretty decent overall. My first stop's going to be in Clarksville, Tennessee. We're going to try to do that tomorrow. And then I'll finish off the last drop in Huntsville, Alabama on Friday. So the two loads combined for about 1,100-ish miles are paying, $3,300. So not too bad. Got to take what you can get. The rates are lousy for some reason right now. They have been for the last month or so. Luckily, Turquoise still keeps finding some decent stuff, but anyway, thought this would be a cool little highway to do some video of the road on here in Ohio. So yeah, main subject of this video is going to be all about the speed limiters for trucks. The FMCSA is now proposing putting a speed limit on all trucks all over the country. They're trying to propose an electronic speed limiter of some sort. And so I'm going to go into depth about this. People have asked me about it. I've got many reasons why this is so wrong on so many levels. Why it's going to be bad for you as the driving public. Why it's going to be more dangerous for you as the driving public. Why it's going to be more dangerous for us as truck drivers. Why it's going to be bad in general for everybody. And it's just going to cause more accidents, more problems, more headaches and hesitations with everybody, and it's a bad idea overall. And of course, I've got one very selfish reason why I don't think it should happen. But we're going to go into all of them and talk about all that in detail. The general motoring public thinks they want this, but once they find out what's going to happen, they will quickly realize this was a bad idea. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. It's a terrible idea. Okay, I've broken this down into a few different categories and a few different talking points here. I even made notes. See, I put a lot of work into my videos here, okay? I care about you. All right, so first off, I want to say I grabbed a great shower today at that newer truck world that's right up there in Conneaut, Ohio at I-90. Was able to fuel up a little bit there. They cut me off at $561. I'm like, you guys could have gotten so much more money out of me. What are you doing? But anyway, got my free shower there, and that place is brand new. It's only been open for less than a year, I think. Had that giant square, rain on you kind of shower head. Oh, that's a beautiful thing, baby. Yeah. Okay. Back to the meat of this whole video, and it is the truck speed limiters that the FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, the one who make us follow all the rules that they've put into play, which are ridiculous. I've talked about that before. We are under more rules as truck drivers than airline pilots are. And we can't drop out of the sky. Anyway, whole different issue. So they're proposing putting speed limiters on all trucks. Now, they haven't said what speed they're going to choose. Most major carriers, your Swift, your CRST, Schneider, what have you, a lot of the FedEx, a lot of the UPS, a lot of the what used to be Conway, what is now XPO, are governed right around 65. There was a few years ago where some of them were governed as low as like 62, 61. May Trucking, who I started with years ago, was at 61. About lost my mind driving for them. And Creek Carrier used to be at 62. They've gone up to 65 since then. Okay, but their trucks are governed. And because they mainly have company drivers, and I understand why they do that. They do that because, they don't want their company drivers just running willy-nilly, going out crazy down the road. But also, these mega carriers also scare the crap out of these company drivers and make them feel like they're constantly under the gun all the time, and they're constantly watching their clock. This is part of the reason that the FMCSA's hours of service rules are so wrong on so many levels, because it makes drivers drive when they're tired. It makes them drive faster than they should because they know their clock is running out. If they'd loosen that up, that would be a major safety change right there. But we're not talking about that. They're talking about speed limiters on all trucks. Like I say, the mega carriers, most of them govern, is what it's called. When you govern a truck, you set it at a certain speed, it won't go any faster than that. Most of the mega carriers do that already. And the problem with that, okay, and so the American Trucking Association, by the way, if you ever hear about that and they say, oh, American Trucking Association is all for that. You know what the American Trucking Association is? That is Swift, CR England, all your mega carriers. That's who that is. That's not the trucking public in general. That's the mega carriers. They're also trying to make it so truck drivers can drive at 18. 18-year-olds driving big trucks. I mean, think back to when you were 18, how stupid you were. You don't smarten up until your mid-20s. So, anyway, okay. I've obviously got some beef with the mega carriers. All right, here's why one major reason it's not going to be safer. Because governed trucks already, whenever I'm in a work zone or a lower speed limit zone like that loop around Indianapolis, which is supposed to be 55 miles an hour. Now, granted, all of the 90% of the cars are going 60, 65, 70 miles an hour around that. Most people in cars speed. Most people are under the assumption that as long as you're going no more than 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, you're not going to get a ticket, which is wrong. If you're going over the speed limit at all, you can get a ticket. That 5 miles an hour theory or wives' tale is just that. It's wives' tale. It's just crap. It's not real. Unfortunately, a lot of the newer drivers who are mainly working for the mega carriers believe that, and they speed around places like that. Going through Indianapolis, like I said before in many of my videos, I have my own little rule. I never go more than 2 to 3 miles an hour over the posted speed limit, just because I don't feel like paying for tickets. I don't want marks on my record, because this is my job. And if I get tickets and I lose my... Okay, as a company driver, you get a 15 mile an hour over speed limit. That's called a reckless driving charge. You instantly lose your job. If you're an owner-operator and you get a 15 mile an hour over ticket, which is a reckless driving charge, you lose your insurance, which, funny thing, means you lose your job. A lot of these newer guys don't know that, and they don't understand that, and like I said, they're always against the clock, and these mega carriers scare the crap out of them that they gotta keep going, gotta keep going, gotta keep going. So what happens when they're in these governed trucks? You hit places like the loop around Indianapolis at 55 miles an hour. I-80 all across the bottom section of Chicago, where it's also 55 for everybody. Like I said, all the cars are always speeding way past that. And any construction zones, work zones. These guys don't slow down for that. They go as fast as their truck is going to go. So if you ever notice that, take a look next time you're driving around in a 55 mile an hour zone in your city, and you see a lot of the trucks speeding. Look at the names on those trucks. It's going to be those mega carriers for the most part. Driving around that loop in Indianapolis, yes, I'll put it about 57, sometimes even 58. But I don't go any faster than that. I'm the slowest truck going through Indianapolis. Always. Because all the mega carriers, and especially FedEx, UPS, XPO, all the day cabbers, they're as fast as their truck will go. They're not slowing down. Okay? So you've already caused problems with that right there. And that's caused by the mega carriers. So imagine now you put a speed limiter on everybody out here. Nobody is going to slow down slower than their truck is going to go. And where do the majority of most accidents happen? Within cities, in work zones, where, people are driving faster than they should be. Okay, now these guys aren't going to slow down at all. This is the first major problem with this whole proposal, is you put a governor on all these trucks, they're never going to slow down slower than that governor is set at. Even if it's set at 60, they're going 60 through that 55, 50 mile an hour zone. This is my first major problem with the whole thing. Okay, next major problem. I'm looking at this from the automobile perspective. You four-wheelers, you're out there driving on the interstate in between major cities where maybe the speed limit's 70. Maybe like out in Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, it's 75, sometimes even 80. And you get one truck is at 65 miles an hour, and you have another truck. Now, see, here's the thing. They're not all going to be exactly the same, because one guy's got a heavier load than the other. You're going up and down hills. So another driver decides he's going to want to pass because he's tired of looking at the ass end of this guy in front of him for the last 38 miles, and he's going to try to pass. Well, if he's governed, the truck in the right lane's governed, but the one in the left lane can go just a little bit faster, how long do you think that's going to take for that truck to pass the other one? Try 5, 6, 10 miles. And now this line of cars is stacked up in the left lane, thinking this truck driver is just being an ass wagon. Well, he can't go any faster, because now you've made all the trucks go the same speed. But yet, we can't really all go the same speed because we're all going to have different weighted loads. Our trucks are going to be just a little bit different. And everyone's going to still be trying to pass each other. We're going to back up traffic beyond belief all over the country. So, you think you want this, four-wheelers. You are going to be so angry when this happens. How often does that happen to you now? Imagine all the trucks governed at 65, 60 miles an hour. You're going to be stuck behind all these trucks who are trying to pass each other because one can go just a little bit faster than the other because of maybe their load. Is that safer? Here's the biggest reason why I have a problem with this is it's been proven. Science, physics, everything is proven over and over. There's been studies. I don't know why the FMCSA just completely ignores this. But there have been studies over and over and over. Anytime you take two groups of vehicles or more and set them at different speed limits, what do you think happens? There's more interaction between, like, the trucks and the cars. Chicago area is a great example. Most of that Chicago area, the trucks or the cars can go still 65, sometimes even 70. They put the trucks at 60. Well, are the trucks doing that? No, because they're, like I said before, those governed trucks, they're going to go as fast as that truck will go. But anyway, when all of them are going at different speeds, then the cars are constantly trying to pass the trucks. And you've got a lot of idiots out there who are getting very impatient. How many times, truck drivers, are you going down the road, you've passed the truck, we've got 75 feet behind us. We can't see exactly when we're ready to move back over. We leave extra room to make sure we're safe to slide over. How many times has a four-wheeler whipped around you on the right side, cut you off, almost crashed you, them, and the truck you just passed because they're too freaking impatient? This is just going to be worse. More interactions between the different vehicles at different speeds means more crashes. Now, everybody gets all upset when, like, a truck driver plows into a minivan full of nuns and kills everybody, because that makes big news. That's a big story. Truck driver kills a bus full of nuns. Yeah, that's bad, and it's lousy, and it sucks when that happens. But the sad thing is, 80% or more, actually, of all truck crash interactions or crashes are caused by the cars. They're not caused by the trucks. Well over half, like I say, it's at least 80%, I think it's even higher, are caused by the cars. Now, yes, sometimes it's caused by the trucks. Just like car drivers, sometimes there's some really lousy truck drivers. What can we do about that? I don't know. They can't all be perfect. And this is where you as a car driver, you as a truck driver, should always be watching, always be looking for ways out, not following too close, not driving aggressive, not cutting everybody off. And hey, there might be less crashes. All right, so we already have the majority of those crashes caused by the cars. Now the problem is, when a major accident like that happens between a truck and a car, well, it just sounds so terrible because truck driver kills a bus full of nuns. Sad truth is, when you're fully loaded in these things, we're running down the road at 80,000 pounds. Your car is 3,000. We're going to keep going. Simple physics proves something in motion wants to keep going in motion. Something at rest wants to stay at rest. You take something in motion at 80,000 pounds, it's going to want to keep going. And it's going to plow through that bus full of nuns. That's the sad part. Okay? But if everybody were driving safer for one, all right, we won't even go to that part. So that's a big problem. So now, again, you cause these truck drivers, you put them governed, and the majority of these accidents also happen within city limits and in construction zones. You're just going to make that worse. So now more trucks are going to kill buses full of nuns. Like I said before, you put everybody down to a certain speed limit below the speed limit for everybody else, and the trucks are never going to slow down for the lower speed limits within city limits, in work zones. I've got a video right here about somebody, as I'm driving I-90 in Pennsylvania, where they have a long stretch near Erie where the speed limit is 55 miles an hour. And here's a truck passing me. I'm sure he was governed.
Here's what Adam made earlier. A pneumatically powered stomping robot. I think he's ready for prime time. He certainly is.
Okay, I think I've touched on most of the major reasons why I think this is going to be so much worse. There's going to be more, it's not going to be safer. There's going to be more crashes. There's going to be more incidents between trucks and cars. And talk about getting irritated on the road, you four-wheel drivers. It's going to drive you crazy. If the speed limit's 75 in Nebraska, and there's one truck passing another, and you're stuck behind them going 62 for 10 miles, you're going to get a little hacked off. But that guy in the left lane ain't going to give up until the guy in the right lane maybe backs off a little bit and lets him over. That's already a problem with all the governed trucks out there right now. It's just going to be worse. Okay, now I saved this one for last because this is purely from a selfish standpoint for me. As an owner-operator, my truck is not governed. Because when I bought the truck, they said, do you want a governor on that? I'm like, hell no. I don't want a governor on this. Because if I'm out west where the speed limit's 80 and I've got a light load and it's not going to cost me too much, I'm running 80. If I'm in Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming where it's 75 and I'm trying to make up a little time, I'm going 75. And this is the only advantage I have over the mega carriers. The Swifts, the CRSTs, the Englands. Okay, their truck is prime. Their trucks are all governed at 62, 65. I can get the load there a little faster. I can make a little bit longer distance every day, especially if I'm driving out west. This is my only advantage as an owner-operator, as an independent contractor. And you're going to take that away. That's why I say the major carriers are all for it, because they're already governing their trucks. So they want to get rid of the competition. Me. And the rates are just going to drop even more. And here's one more reason the mega carriers are all for this, because like I said before, if I'm driving in Ohio and it's 70 miles an hour, I'm going 70, maybe 72. I'll go 2 to 3 miles an hour over the speed limit because all the cars are passing me. They're going 75, 80. Now I'll hit the Indiana line on I-70, say for example. Speed limit for trucks drops down to 65. It's 70 for the cars. So already now we've got that problem going on where there's a hell of a lot more cars weaving in and out trying to get around you, causing more problems, more accidents. Now I'll drop down to 67, maybe even 68 if I feel like it, being daring on a day. I will be the slowest truck out there all the way to Indianapolis because all the mega carriers are going to go faster if they can. I'm usually the slowest truck. God forbid there's a work zone, and there's always a ton of them in Indiana, drops you down to 55. I'm the only one going anywhere near that because I don't want tickets. I don't want, any problem against my license. I need to keep this job. That's another problem, is then all these newer guys, this is where the mega carriers keep saying, oh, there's a driver shortage. There's no driver shortage. It's bullshit. It's because they treat their drivers like crap, and drivers don't stay with them for more than 6 months to a year, and they move on. And so it's a turnover problem. So you treat your drivers like that way, guess what happens? They move on. And you get all these newer guys who are too stupid, sorry, to understand the rules. And I'm a rule follower. Plus, I don't want to have to pay speeding tickets. I want a clean driving record. So even if I have to move on, which I don't think I ever will, I can get hired anywhere. But too many of these new guys, they put them in there, they throw them into trucks, they scare the hell out of them. They're running against their clock, they're driving tired when they shouldn't be, and that's the whole other issue. But anyway, then they're speeding through all these work zones. Whenever I hit those work zones, especially in Indiana, everybody's passing me, all trucks included. I'm the only one going anywhere near the speed limit. That's bad because it's a work zone. That's two, because, you know, like I say, these new guys don't know how bad the penalties are. And then, funny thing, they lose their job or they get fired, and then the major carriers are saying, oh, well, there's a truck driver shortage. No. Okay, well, obviously you can tell I'm very passionate about this. All right, I know it's gone on way too long, but I hope this gave you something to think about. Now let's end with something fun. When I was driving down Highway 11 in Ohio, there's somebody riding a horse up over this bridge over the interstate. Check this out. And now the Clutch Trucker zoom and slow-mo. And then I thought this was interesting. As I'm coming through the Columbus area, we have to, do a pre-inspection on our truck every day. We will have to walk around it, make sure everything's functioning, everything's right. Cars don't have to do that. Car drivers don't have to do that. Look at this guy I came up behind. All right, look at that car right there. You see something dangling off of that? All right, we're going to speed up because he kind of drifts behind, obviously not paying a lot of attention to the road. And then he comes back up on the right side here in just a minute, and you'll see a little bit better view of what I'm talking about as he shows up right about here. Look at that. That left mirror is just dangling off of the driver's side door. All right, we have to make sure everything on our truck is always working. Just want to point out this car in front of me. Left mirror is dangling off the driver's door. There is no right mirror at all.
1 3/4 miles. Take exit 1
they're out here driving around
on the right to I-670, then keep right.
All right, thanks for putting up through all that and all my ranting and raving, but I'm obviously very passionate about this. And you as the car driving public, you may think you want speed limiters on trucks. It's not going to help, because now where most of the crashes happen, within city limits, just outside city limits, and work zones, it's just going to get worse. More buses full of nuns are going to be killed. All right, well, thanks for tuning in for that one. I hope that gives you four-wheeler drivers a little more insight into why this is not going to be a good thing, and why it's going to annoy the crap out of you, I'm telling you, and it's just going to make everything more unsafe, in my opinion. This is just my opinion, but I'm telling you, based on 13 years driving out here in the truck, all right? This isn't just willy-nilly. So, hope that gives you some information. I hope that gives you something to think about. And maybe you'll contact your constituents and tell them that they need to let the FMCSA know that this is not a good idea. It's just going to be more trouble, more headaches, more crashes. I don't see it being a good thing in any way. How about you, Rusty? We'll take his silence as agreement. Thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe, please like and comment. I get to your comments as soon as I can. Sometimes takes a day or two because I'm a working truck driver. There's Clutch Trucker on Instagram, Clutch Trucker on Twitter. I've been lax about putting something up there for the last week and a half or so, but I will do that again soon. Ring the bell for notifications so you know when the new videos come out. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty, out. Last night, Darth Vader came down from space and told me if I don't take Lorraine to the dance, he's gonna melt my brain. Here, where's it going? Oh, there it goes. Over there in front of the fridge on the Clutch Trucker couch. The bacon strip. We need to write a begging strip theme song for you, Rusty. We can make it like a country song. Rusty likes his begging strips. Alright, we'll give you one more little one. There you go. Alright. Enjoy it. I'll have to come up with something. A Rusty begging strip song. Coming soon on the Clutch Trucker channel.